What a way to start December. We're only a few days in, and look at Bitcoin nearly at 40,000 once again. As I'm recording this, like 39.5, 37, 39.6. We're going to breach that 40,000. It's going to be right around the corner. But with all this excitement around Bitcoin, we're definitely seeing excitement in other areas in Web3. For example, games. And also memes, and also just a lot of great L1s and DeFi. There's a lot of things happening right now. So in this video, I want to talk about the trends I'm seeing. Did it align with what has happened before, or are these new trends? And are there any warning signs? Anything you should be careful about? Let's do this. First off, something that I'm seeing right now for the last month or so, in particular, I see games heating up right now. Heating up in a big way. Existing games from before, the popular ones from 2021, they're starting to come back. And the newer games that are about to be released, they are doing absolutely fantastic. Now, I've said this about games before. Games have the capacity to bring in millions upon millions of users into the space. That's what we need. It makes sense. Look at Web 1 and Web 2 games. Console games, desktop games, mobile games. They have millions and millions and millions of users already. A lot of you guys watching, when you're bored, you're probably playing a game of some sort. So it makes sense that for Web3, if we had a really fun game or fun games, they will do the same thing, draw in millions of users. Unfortunately, we just haven't had that happen yet. We had a few games that did well in 2021 that drew in a lot of users, but unfortunately, due to the downtrend and due to overhype and under-delivery and bad economics, most of them kind of fell down and became a little bit of, they just lost a lot of users, a little bit, forgotten, right? Luckily though, the new games that are coming out, these new developers, new leaders, they studied the past. They saw what worked, what didn't. So now the projects that are coming out, the new games that are coming out, kind of fixes a lot of the problems of the old. So one of the things I'm seeing with a lot of Web 2 games or Web 3 games now are these developers, they're concentrating on what makes games great. Graphics, storytelling, like the lore, stuff like that. They're concentrating hardcore on these things, and also concentrating hardcore on just getting the game to be enjoyable. Don't force all the Web3 elements onto these players right away. Do Web 2, right? Create a really good game, get it out, get people to love it, and then introduce Web3 elements, which I think is the right approach. That way, you already have these players hooked, right? Then they care. Because I think what happened before was you had a lot of game makers try to push these new games with Web3 elements, and most people that came in, they didn't quite understand, or they found it annoying and it drove them away. So that's the difference this time around, and a lot of these guys are not overhyping and under-delivering. I feel like they've learned from the previous game makers, so now they're actually giving a lot of, alpha, making sure people are aware of development, the time, how long it's going to take, right? They're letting people know, not overhyping it. At least the ones that I've been looking at recently, right? Of course, there's probably games that are coming out that are being overhyped and under-delivering, but you know, the ones that are doing well right now, it just doesn't seem like that's the case. And you know, Web3 elements like wallets and NFTs and marketplaces and stuff like that, they're still being incorporated, but again, Web 2 first. Build a really good looking game, one that has tons of good stories, get people invested in them, right? Get people hooked, then introduce those elements. So I think that's what's different this time around. So games are starting to come up in a big way. That's awesome. Really, really awesome. You have like games like before, like Illuvium, right? They're still not done yet, unfortunately, but they just released their new beta and then released it on Epic Game Stores. So hopefully that helps them gain some players. But you have others that recently has just really have caught a lot of momentum. For example, Shrapnel, which looks like a fantastic AAA game. I just talked about them recently. You got Corny, Copious. You know, they look like a AAA game out of Cardano. And you got a lot of others too. People have been sending me more games. You know, these are the newer games that are coming out. And then you got some of the mobile ones too. Like I've talked about WagMe games. WagMe is going mobile, and there's others that are following the same footsteps, right? I saw that there's another game maker I'm not too familiar with called Big Time. They're starting to gain momentum too. And then you have chains that's specific to games like Beam, for example, on top of Avalanche, that's doing very well. Avalanche itself is doing very well. And then also you have like Immutable X, which traditionally has been in gaming and NFTs. They're doing very well because of the games that they have aboard too. So games overall, whether you like games, whether you play games, I think the gaming sector is going to be a lot hotter this cycle than previous cycles. And I've talked to a lot of game makers too, because I am advising for quite a lot. And I've been pitched and talked to a lot of these new founders. A lot of these guys, you know, they have a ton of experience. A lot of these guys come from the biggest game developers out there. You know, a lot of these have worked for Microsoft or Epic Games or Bungie, or, you know, they worked on Diablo and Activision. And I mean, these guys are serious guys that have worked on some of the most popular games, and now they're bringing their talents in Web3. That's also awesome to see and hear, because obviously they have the experience. Second thing, memes. Memes. Every cycle, there's a lot of memes. Right now, there's a ton of new memes. Now with memes, you always gotta be careful, right? You just don't know. Most of them are pump and dumps. Most of them, only the leaders or the creators, the founders will make big money, and everyone else gets left behind. But I said this before on a Sunday Walk video. One of the strange things is the bigger memes, like Doge and Sheeb, they're not really catching fire at all. They've been very stagnant, and I know people will ask me, like, when is Doge gonna come up? Are they gonna get back to their previous highs? Sheeb gonna get back to previous highs? I think they will, but right now, the momentum is not in them at all. Momentum are in the new memes. Well, obviously, I don't have to say Pepe. Pepe is kind of old now, and it hasn't really caught on fire recently either, but you have guys like Grok or Jesus or whatever else that's coming up and pumping, right? You just got to be careful. You got to be careful with these memes. If you get in early, you made some money, great. Get out. Get out immediately, because they can dump right on top of your head. Don't think that you're holding on to the next Pepe. It could happen, but the chances of that are minimal, because right now, every single day, you go on Dex Tools, in the top 3 hot trending coins, They're new memes. Every day there's 3 new ones. So be careful with memes. But what memes does show is the fact that people are getting excited once again. That's the only reason why. You know, you got retail investors and you got some degens in the space, right, that are starting to get excited and put their money into it. That's what's happening. There's FOMO building, right? Yeah, I forgot like things like Bonk, which has been around for a while, but it didn't really catch fire until the last few months. On top of Solana, there's another one I think called Myro, and then you have like Snack on Cardano, right? Some of these memes, these guys have well intentions. They want to build something big. So not to say that all memes are bad, but you just got to be very careful. You got to be very careful because some of them do go down a lot. Like I'll give you my example. I said this on stream the other day. I forgot recently, like the last few days, right before I went to bed, I'm like, Jesus coin is doing well. Let me put some money into it. Like literally 5 minutes later, it dumped 50%. It happens. Like it happens for no reason. You know, it's just, it looks like it's just going up and up and up and up, and then boom, 50% drop immediately. And I know a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. Like as soon as like you put in some money into something, it just drops. Yeah, that happens. So with memes, be careful. But I do think memes are people drivers. They bring a lot of people into this space, maybe for the wrong reasons, but a lot of those people do stay. So that's good. They bring people in, they stay, they learn about other things. So overall, that's good. And if you want to be a degen, you want to play a little bit, put some money, throw around in memes, and you think you're gonna make big money from it, sure, go ahead. You might lose, but just make sure you just put a little amount. Don't go too heavy. So just think of it as you're gambling for the future. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, you move past it, right? So memes, new memes, are starting to catch fire. Old memes are not. I think in the bull market, the old memes like Doge and Sheeb, they will come back up. But right now, all the money is going to the smaller ones. So I guess you just got to be patient if you're a Doge or Sheeb holder. Now, what else is going on? Well, a lot of L1s and DEXs are also trending upwards right now. One's out of the blue. And I do think exchanges do have a big, exchanges do have a big part in this. One of the hottest L1s right now is Celestia. It's over $1 billion. Prior to that, Injective was one of the hottest. Guess what? They're both out of Cosmos ecosystem. This is why I've been so bullish on Cosmos. Unfortunately, Atom tokens itself is not gaining a lot of momentum. But the chains that are coming out of Cosmos are so hot. Injective, I think, cooled down a little bit, but they're still doing relatively well. Over $1 billion market cap. One of the biggest movers of this year. Now we saw the same thing with Celestia. Celestia is now over $1 billion in market cap. And it's a modular blockchain. And, you know, it's a new age chain that's meant to be better and more efficient than Ethereum. We have heard that story time and time again. But Celestia is one of the ones that got listed on Coinbase first. So that Coinbase effect, I think it's real, right? Because right now, when you got people FOMO into the space, where do they FOMO at or on? Coinbase. Very little people FOMO into what's on Uniswap. That's the reality. The majority of retail people don't know how to use MetaMask or Uniswap. So what do they use? They use Coinbase. So I think as we're moving into the bull market, exchanges it's going to play a big role just like before, right? So look for the Coinbase effect, Binance effect. Yes, Binance effect is still real. Look at what happened to Ordi. After Ordi got listed on Binance, now it's pumping up to the moon too. Coinbase, Binance, even OKX. I've noticed things getting listed on OKX is also getting that effect as well. So yeah, you got a lot of L1s also that's doing quite well, the new ones, right? The old ones are still a little stagnant, but still, a lot of them have been doing well. Look at Solana. Solana just continues to trend upwards, upwards, upwards. Now mid 60s. It's not stopping. Avalanche is also doing well because all the gaming stuff that's happening. So that's good. But then you got others that are a little stagnant. Like Cardano, for example. Cardano's kind of stagnant. VeChain kind of stagnant. Hedera, Near. These are all stagnant, right? I think they'll come back full force, but right now, I think what's happening is people are looking for new things. That's why the new games are getting momentum, new memes are getting momentum, and new L1s. So right now, it's kind of like a tale of what's new, right? But not in every instance. Because the last trending thing I want to talk about are like DeFi stuff. Like Thorchain is not new, and they are absolutely on fire. Same thing with liquid staking plays like Lido, doing very well. Uniswap, doing very well. PancakeSwap, doing very well. I think DeFi started coming up because of all the FUD around exchanges like Binance and Kraken and even Coinbase, because SEC going after them. So I think a lot of people in the space started realizing, well, self-custody is important, first of all, and utilizing decentralized DEXs, you know, that's the way to go. So I think a lot of DeFi plays are starting to catch on fire, which is good, right? But these are not new. There are new DeFi plays right now, but they just haven't caught. But going back to what I was just saying about new things, that could be something to look forward to. New DeFi plays, they may be the next to catch on fire. And maybe the way to identify them is to see which ones get listed on Coinbase. So I might start looking more into that, connecting the dots. But yeah, right now, because Bitcoin's, you know, pump to nearly 40,000, maybe by the time this video comes out, it is 40,000, right? Because the money is coming in, there's a lot of enthusiasm and hype over very first spot Bitcoin ETFs coming out. That should be like in January. That's less than a month away. With that, with the halving event, you know, and there's just a lot more people in the space now that never exited, not like previous cycles. This is an awesome time to be in. This is what we're waiting for, right? I've been telling you guys for years, lasting through a crypto winter sucks. It sucks, and it seems like it's forever. But now that we're past it, you know, do you remember all the deep, dark days? Yeah, maybe a few, but you know, they're kind of like a distant memory now, right? Now all we could think about is how high Bitcoin's gonna go, how high Ethereum and Cardano and Solana and Avalanche and Polygon, how high these will go in the cycle. So it's an exciting time. It is an exciting time. All right, guys, that's it for this video. It's an exciting day. It's an exciting month. We just started. The Santa rally is right around the corner. I think we may end the year 45,000, maybe even higher. The way we're going right now, if we crack 40,000 today, ending the year between 45 and 50,000, could be a real possibility. Think about if we end the year at $50,000, how far we have come from January of this year when Bitcoin was at $16,000. Think about it. Think about it. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.